Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
So can we start the show with some good news?
Yes.
I would like to know where Durham is.
It is east of Toronto, and it's great.
Hey, Jesse, you want to shut off your volume on your computer? That'd be great.
How dare you?
Thanks for being a part of the show there, bud. No, Durham is to the left of Toronto. I look at it as Toronto's left. If you're looking towards the lake in Toronto, it's on the left side. It's a little bit further on from where Steve and I grew up. Steve lives in the Durham region. My girlfriend is from the Durham region. It's home to the Oshawa Generals.
It's very important.
Very important hockey team.
Pickering Panthers.
Yeah. Yeah, also where Steve hosts his birthday party, which Jesse did not show up for.
Didn't feel like it.
No.
It was kind of far.
Wow.
Now, here's the deal.
Wow.
I didn't want to get into this now, but Jesse's a terrible friend.
Yes.
Like, has been invited 3 or 4 times, chose to go out for dinner downtown with some other people on your birthday.
Oh,
Steve, how do you feel about that?
Some other better friends.
Some other better friends.
Oh, no.
So Jesse and his better friends crew.
One of us sat here and gave Steve Dangle a present for his birthday.
Yeah. One of us got ripped off. They straight up ripped me off. So I'm trying to find another one, but in the meantime...
Oh, you mean his Christmas present? You didn't get him either.
No, I did get him a Christmas present, and I got him a birthday present, too.
Wait.
Did you receive your Christmas present, Steve?
Yeah, because I got ripped off. That was the Eddie George jersey.
And then what'd you get him for his birthday?
I got him Hockey's Greatest Pictures, a book.
Oh, yeah, he did. He got me a really good book, and he got me a piñata that... Things
Nobody
happened
used.
and I forgot to use it. So I'll bring it to his party. Are you going to that party, Jesse?
I don't know.
Well, it's downtown, so he might show up.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got super defensive there. Someone's feeling a little guilty. That's all I'm
you
saying.
expect me to not defend myself?
Oh, I just think
Is
you're...
that
I
the court?
think that you
Is that
don't
the
have...
court we're in?
There is no position to defend. You're a bad friend.
Okay.
No, but good news.
What's the good news?
James
Reimer,
Reimer, Bill Masterton Trophy nominee for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who he does not play for, and I think shout out to James. Shout out to James.
Now, is that an indictment of the current Leafs, or is that just how gosh darn amazing James Reimer is?
I think it's a little column A, a little column B, but I think it's more column B.
I think it's how gosh darn amazing he is.
Yeah, because if they were a good team and they had traded him, I feel like it still would have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's a good guy.
He's just, I said in my video today, now that James Reimer is gone, which Leaf would you most likely believe is related to Santa Claus? And my answer is Brooks Lake.
Right.
But before him, James Reimer was first, second, and third.
Fair. Very fair.
Definitely related to Santa Claus.
Do we want to talk about another notable nominee, or do we just want to skate on by that one because it's stupid?
No, it was the talk of Twitter. We can talk about
Jesse, how do you feel about this one? Because we go into this one, it's a bit of a rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is probably, the Masterton Trophy represents what, gentlemen?
Controversy each and every single year.
Represents.
It is for sportsmanship and perseverance in the sport of hockey in the NHL, named after Bill Masterton, who died. Greg Wyshynski often likes to bring that up. Like, oh, what'd you do? Oh, you overcame this obstacle? Oh, yeah, I died.
How did Bill Masterton die?
I believe he was hit by 2 players at the same time, wasn't wearing a helmet, hit the ice, and didn't go so good.
Wow.
Yeah. But like in the past, like Phil Kessel won when he had testicular cancer.
Right.
He missed like 12 games and came back in his rookie year.
He was 19 or something?
It's incredible. Yeah. Very, very, very impressive. So that's the sort of thing you get nominated for. Sometimes the winner is just old. Which this year it might be Jágr. I think Chelios won one too. You never know.
Who do you think actually has a shot at this one?
I didn't get to see all the nominees.
Is James up there though?
Reimer? Nah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Jágr, who's like, 44? I assume he's going to go at it for the Panthers. He'd be an excellent nominee. But someone tweeted at me, Matt Zuccarello would actually be an excellent winner. Had a really bad injury in the playoffs. Something with his skull. He had to kind of reteach himself how to talk properly. And he's playing hockey again this year, and he's pretty good. Mm-hmm. That would be a good nominee and potential winner for the Masterton. I didn't see who the Rangers nominated, though. I hope it was him.
Okay. Now, then we've got...
Or someone else.
Then we've got the person who definitely will not win. Who is the last on the list of people that will potentially win this?
Well, and here's the problem. Every team gets a nominee, which I think we can maybe do away with.
Yeah.
It's a nice gesture. But not every team necessarily has a worthy candidate. And this one is interesting. Because it's voted on by the Pro Hockey Writers Association. So the Buffalo chapter of the Pro Hockey Writers Association nominated
Mike Babcock.
No, they nominated themselves, as someone put on Twitter, because Mike Babcock personally wronged them all.
Right. Personally, that's right.
Personally wronged them all. No, they voted for Ryan O'Reilly.
What was before we make any judgment,
Sure.
what was the reasoning?
I didn't read any because I was too caught up in the brouhaha. Now, Travis Hughes from SB Nation took quite a bit of flack from particularly our boy Mike Harrington, who we have brought up on this podcast before. He was the guy asking all the huff and puff questions at the Mike Babcock press conference. Might even see him on Thursday.
He was the one most personally wronged.
Oh, he was definitely most personally wrong. Now, Travis was going at Mike. You know, it sounded like he definitely disagreed with the rule, but I thought he was fair in that you could maybe make a story that, because before the incident that we will get to that Ryan O'Reilly was involved in, if he was nominated for the Masterton, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Like for based on everything I heard before that incident, Ryan O'Reilly was a stand-up guy, stand-up citizen, you know, was great with the fans, did some other work. Good dude. Now, you can make an interesting story that he's doing all that now, and he's learned from that incident, and it has made him a better person. You could totally talk about all that. And the incident I'm talking about is he's going to court because he supposedly was drinking and driving, and he crashed his car into a Tim Hortons and then fled the scene. This was in, I think, September.
Man, if any of us did that, we'd be in jail right now, right?
For sure. Well, luckily for him, the trial was moved until after the hockey season.
Do you want to hear?
Because you can't be inconvenienced by a DUI.
No.
Do you want to hear Mike Harrington's explanation for why O'Reilly was?
So he did explain it then.
he was tasked with the job of explaining why in the Buffalo News.
I love that he gets to be the guy.
When did he do this though? Did he do it yesterday or today?
It was before like all the mess came out. It came out as the nomination came out.
So that's good.
So he said in the article, first of all, there was no mention of the drunk driving charge.
Then your article sucks.
In the entire article. And
your article sucks, isn't worth reading, you're not worth reading.
And he said in his first season with the team after a blockbuster draft,
yes,
with a draft night trade with Colorado, O'Reilly leads all NHL forwards in ice time.
That's, you know what? Impressive.
And he leads the Sabres in assists, points, and face-off percentage.
Impressive.
He was also the lone representative in the All-Star game. But
impressive.
But
you know what?
Straight up impressive.
More than just numbers. O'Reilly has become a de facto captain in the locker room and on the ice.
So I can't speak to that. I don't know.
None of those things are surprising to me based on what I have heard about Ryan O'Reilly. None of those things are surprising to me. However, to not even mention that little chestnut we just mentioned is shocking and embarrassing. You should definitely be embarrassed.
So from what I know of that incident that involved Ryan O'Reilly is what you just told me, Steve. So going off of that's all I know about that incident.
Yeah. I don't know if he's actually been charged with it.
Okay, so he's not even charged yet.
His trial is in July, so.
He must have been, he's charged. Yeah, for sure.
He's charged.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah.
I
went to bed at 3 a.m.
That's okay, man. So I am all for the argument of somebody coming back from being an idiot. Lord knows I've had many moments, and we've all had many moments in our lives where we've been idiots, and people have called us out on it, and we felt terrible about it, and we turned it around. And I'm all for that. But if you're going to nominate somebody for an award such as this, with the criteria that is laid out, to not even mention it is killing your entire argument. People can pick at your argument, but it's valid either way. They could say, well, he doesn't deserve it because of that incident. And you'd be like, actually, because of that, he's turned it around, and look at all this, and this. You can make the argument on both sides. But if you gloss it over, your argument falls apart.
Yeah, but what do you know, Adam? Like, who the hell are you?
What do I? I don't know.
What is your experience in hockey?
I don't, nothing at the professional level.
Well, Jesse, how about you? Covering hockey, I mean.
I do this podcast.
I do this podcast, yeah.
Well, I've done videos for 9 years. I don't know if that counts for anything. But did you know that Fancy Man Mike Harrington has been a sports journalist for 30 years, as he told many people on Twitter yesterday? That has nothing to do with the fact that you didn't mention the thing. Now, here I was stalling a bit earlier because I couldn't find it, but here is the excerpt from Travis Hughes' little summary of the Mike Harrington thing that I liked. Maybe there's a story here that we don't know. Maybe O'Reilly took the DWI incident as a wake-up call and that it truly was a lesson for him. Maybe he took the opportunity to fix some personal issues that may have led to the incident. He did apologize, after all, so there could be some truth to that notion. It'd be a good example of perseverance, which, by the way, is what the Bill Masterton Trophy is for. But the journalists who have been around O'Reilly all year, the ones who picked him for this award, have not told that story. Glowing stories written about him this season, like this one from Harrington, and he links to one, have not touched on the subject. If your claim is that you know better than others because you're a 30-year journalist, you should do the job of a journalist and tell the story that gives you such insight into why O'Reilly's nomination is acceptable.
As in the whole story. Tell the whole story.
So you know what? It could be a good nomination, and we just don't know it, which is a disservice to the readers, is it not? And Sabres fans.
And potentially O'Reilly. Potentially.
Should it have gone to Evander Kane?
Someone
What we're debating.
Someone on Twitter said that. I don't know, and that's the other thing. Who else on the Sabres do you give it to?
Nobody's played well. He's only 12. He can't. He hasn't persevered over anything.
True, an older player who has had 9,000 injuries.
Tim Murray for recovering from losing Connor McDavid. I think. I mean, he had to settle for Jack Eichel, who's just been
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Pretty bad player. He won't turn out to be a damn star.
No, not at all. Not at all. We make fun of Buffalo, but Jack Eichel's coming over the water every once in a while to haunt our dreams. 4 or 5 times a season? So
what about Robin Lehner?
Yeah.
Robin Lehner fought off a lot of injuries to come back this year, although I don't know all that much about Robin Lehner. I have not been around the team all year, and I am not a fancy 30-year journalist. So, you know what? I am going to give the benefit of the doubt that a lot of people are not giving, that Ryan O'Reilly may be deserving.
Yeah, for sure.
But to not even mention that story is utterly ridiculous, and it's nonsense, sir. It is absolute nonsense.
Can we move on to Jimmy Vesey?
Yes,
All right.
Vesey.
Vesey. Is this Vesey?
I'm going to say Vesey until I'm corrected.
Okay, let's go with Vesey then. I'm going with you on that one. So Jimmy Vesey has told the Nashville Predators through his representative that he will not be signing with them. We'll be exploring free agency on August 15th.
Yes, and you might be going, what? It's not the same as most other free agents. He can't be a free agent on July 1st. He has to wait for August 18th, unless the Predators do something, which they've already said they won't.
20 years old, Boston College, NCAA, standout. He was the captain. They didn't win, but I mean, he had an incredible year. Now, had he signed with the Preds, and this is according to Chris Johnston at Reporter Chris on Twitter,
who was killing it yesterday, by the way,
he'd get $92,500 today. As a signing bonus
today, boom, in your pocket, done.
Plus $50,000 in salary now, and an ELC that expires after next season.
Right, so he would burn a year of his entry level, which means once his entry level is up, a year sooner, he can sign for more money.
David Pohl is frustrated. The Preds have a huge built-in advantage here, especially because they have a top 6 role available with the playoffs coming. So Jimmy could come in out of college, just finish playoffs in college, play the last few games, and then go to the playoffs. Now, which is interesting to turn down. That is interesting.
It's interesting to turn down. However, Is Vesey this good? A lot of people say
Vesey.
Vesey,
Well,
whatever. Jimmy, is Jimmy this good?
I have that question. I said, is this guy any good anyway?
Supposedly, I read some things about his comparables being like, coming out of college, which is so hard to read anyway, like Bozak. But I mean, if you look at all the college free agents signed over the last 10 years or something, Bozak's
pretty much up there, right?
Up there, like top 5, top 10. He's been fantastic. And that's just UFA signing out of NCAA. Vesey was drafted.
But Matt O'Connor was the big name last year.
Yeah, and you never know. Well, and he still might pan out. It's been one professional year. He's been terrible. You never know. Might bounce back. But if a team that is going to the playoffs, by the way, already has a spot for little old me coming out of university in the top 6 heading into the playoffs, I don't know how badly I want to be in that situation. Are they hurting that much? And also, I tweeted last night.
That's a good point, actually.
The Nashville Predators need to stop trying to WWE their way into the playoffs. They need to stop. Oh yeah, we're not doing much at the trade deadline. My God, that's Alex Radulov's music. Think of your family. Think of your fans. We're not going to acquire anyone. Oh, by the way, loophole. We're bringing this guy over. We had him before. Radulov can just join us, and he's going to help us out in our playoff run. Okay, and that doesn't work out. Oh, you got Andrew Ladd? Blackhawks? Oh, really? Oh, you got Dale Weiss? Guess what? We didn't have to give up anything. Boom! Jimmy Vesey coming out of college. Oh, bet you didn't expect that. And we saved on the cap because he was in college that whole time while he was spending all this money on Dale Weiss and friggin' Andrew Ladd. Oh, I bet you think you're so smart. No, we're smarter. Nashville, stop trying to rabbit out of the hat every time you're trying to look for a playoff a round or two. I don't get it. I don't like. It seemed like they were relying really heavily on a maybe, which is super not smart.
Well,
in any field.
I mean, we all drive in cars every day on the premise that maybe we won't die, right? So
that is true.
Apt comparison.
Right?
I have a question though. If Jimmy was so good, why did he go to Harvard for 4 years, and why was he only drafted in the 3rd round?
There's a Players Tribune article on that he wrote, and he talks about some sort of there's pride in being there. Now, that could be a load of hogwash.
Yes.
And I'm saying hogwash because we're on the radio right now. On the podcast
Are you saying
portion,
it could be poppycock or balderdash?
I definitely am. Because every time a player talks about pride these days, and a potential player talks about pride these days, I go, yeah, but millions of dollars too. Yes. And
yeah, so his let me look something up. Okay, so his dad is a
scout for the Leafs.
Scout for the Leafs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's signing with the Leafs.
His brother.
No.
His brother.
See, I'm not even talking about that. All right. His brother is a draft pick of the Leafs, 6th round, 158th overall from 2014.
What team?
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
For the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That was the
his future team.
I love Jesse.
Is his dad's name Jim Vesey?
Jim. No.
Is he the gentleman on Hockey DB that comes up when I type in the name Vesey? There are only 3 guys: Jimmy, Nolan, and Jim.
Okay,
I'm thinking that might be his dad.
One of them James? Can one of them just be James, for goodness sakes?
No, they got Jim and Jimmy. Wow, they are anti-James. You're right.
Just be James.
You're absolutely right.
You're the older one. You get James.
So anyway, here's my theory though. They got
Jimmy Senior.
They got a guy who's working for an NHL team already as a dad.
That's a dad. That's his job.
His job is dad.
By the way, that is the most NASCAR family tree I've ever heard. Jimmy, and Jamesy Jimson.
Jim Bob. Nolan went to the University of Maine to play hockey. Jimmy went to Harvard for 4 years, so I assume he's graduating. Mm-hmm. And again,
who knows?
Dad who works for the Leafs.
We don't know. You just
Let's not make any assumptions.
No. But what I'm saying is, these guys, we're talking about money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all about the money here, because I'm not sure there is a huge need.
For money in the family.
Education. The parents are doing all right. He's setting himself up for the future during hockey and
Setting
after
himself up
hockey.
to make less money.
No, he's really not.
He's not, though. Because, he signs an ELC next year. He's making, what, 900? He's making
You
max.
know what he's setting
max
himself
rookie.
up for?
Yeah.
A decent NHL career, after which he becomes a coach or GM or scout.
Yeah. Or goes back and works for Boston College.
Or an agent, works for Boston College. Like, this guy is going to have a wicked career, and it's going to keep going long after he's done shooting pucks.
If I could make the uneducated assumption here, he's from Boston, talks about in the Players Tribune article, and I suggest you read it just so you can get an insight into his mindset. He talks about the pride. He wants to hear his name at the Boston Garden. You know, we get that. We all wanted the same thing. But both of his family members that are in professional hockey are with the Leafs. So that to me leaves two teams. Boston and the Leafs.
And that is what Todd Halushko reported on the Fan 590, Sportsnet 590, The Fan. It's down to the Bruins and the Leafs.
And I think once he takes a look, now, even, first of all, you look at both teams, who's got the better opportunity for him?
The Leafs, for
Far and away.
sure.
Far and away.
For sure.
Even if he starts the year with the Marlies, he is set up. Because the Marlies, and your article with Tobias Lindberg talks about this, the amount of support that the Marlies now have from Leafs management, to video, to statistics, personal training, all these sorts of things, these intangibles that are very tangible, actually.
These tangibles.
Yeah, these tangibles that the Leafs have beyond just being able to pay a guy far outweigh what basically any team's going to be able to give you right now. And that's how they're stacking the deck.
It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. And there's still more movement to happen with the Leafs. I was calculating something before the show. Here it is on my phone. And it just tickled me pink. So, generalfanager.com. It's got this little feature where it shows the percentage of the cap that your forwards take up, your defense takes up, and your goalies take up. And I noticed something odd. So the Leafs forwards today, the 16 forwards listed on General Fanager, take up 47.19% of the Leafs cap. Wow. Their defense takes up 13.42% of the cap. Wow, okay. Their goalies add up to 6.75% of the cap.
No, you got to do it again. Wow, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to hear wow. I like the wow.
Wow, St. Louis.
Well, they got some forwards, some defenders. Looks like they got a couple goalies too. Yeah. For those of you playing the home game, that only adds up to 67.36% of the cap.
Oh.
Which means a whole big bunch of it is in buyouts and buried and injured.
And if you add...
There's a lot going on.
If you add Jimmy to that, good old Jimmy, that doesn't add much more to the cap.
No.
Because he's going to make a little over 1% of the Leafs cap at $950,000.
There's a lot of unrestricted free agents. There's a lot of restricted free agents. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Now, so the Leafs have options. They did sign a goalie, Kashmiri Kakasuo. I hope.
I called him Casimir Sasky Stewart today in the video today. He's the Australian men on Rayom. He will be playing for the Leafs for years to come. Kaskiswo.
Kasmiri Kaskiswo. They're signing players, again, like we talked about. We have the all hard to pronounce teams that you were sending us all week, which were
people
incredible.
were tweeting me like en masse. They're like, he's your new goalie.
Yeah,
there
amazing,
you go.
amazing.
Krzysztof and Customer
I seriously hope that he plays really well on a Saturday night some night so we can get Don Cherry's pronunciation of that.
Got this. Not Kazim Kadri's in goalie now. He's in goalie now. He's stopping pucks.
This is a man who struggled with Luongo, so I think that's going to be fun, and I hope that on that particular day we're all watching, and just I know that everybody they'll put down the computer for just a second just to see.
Pat Roy.
The other thing is before we go to break here, we want to quickly address Nikita Zaitsev. It's been rumored that there's been a handshake agreement in place since the beginning of the season that he is coming to Toronto from Moscow. Now there's someone apparently joining him. Someone who Steve mentioned earlier in the show, who we've talked about many times on this show as being one of the most talented but crazy people on the planet.
Alexander Radulov.
or an American and Canadian, it's Radulov.
Radulov.
Now-
Radulov best.
So what are the chances of this actually happening?
You know what? I was trying to look at it, and I was going, okay, so he's got his issues. Babcock often talks about players who live right. And based on everything I've ever heard about Alex Radulov, there's no way in hell he'll ever be a Leaf. But it could make some sense for Radulov if, especially if he wins the Gagarin Cup this year, in which he's going to the final. He's really got nothing left to prove. He's already won it a few times in the KHL. If he wants to make an NHL comeback, he could probably make the Leafs no problem and get dealt to a contender no problem. And it's the Leafs have a right to print draft picks. However,
do you want him around the young guys?
No. There's that. And I also spoke to someone, and for reasons I'm not comfortable saying on the air, especially because it's developing, and I'm going to talk to them a little bit more about this, I am convinced that rumor about Radulov coming to the Leafs is very, very all the way incredibly not true.
Okay, so do you have definitive
I have
proof?
reason to believe those rumors are false.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Besides the fact that it doesn't make sense, I have more concrete reason to believe it's false.
We're going to go on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. We'll be back after the break with how now Yakupov and Edmonton, the relationship is probably coming to an end very, very soon. Could it come to an end sooner, but because of Edmonton, LOL, it fell apart. Now, we'll be right back and we'll talk about that. That's what, we're not wrapping up the show here. We got another segment to do. Yeah. Before we talk about Niall Yakupov.
Yakupov.
I knew you'd do that. We got to talk about his new teammate, Patrick Maroon, who last night trolled the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, even though I still call them the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're
okay,
right.
thank you. Yeah,
you're
the
right.
Mighty Ducks, because they were pretty mighty, after the game. Apparently, they've got this tradition. And Patrick Maroon kind of stepped in the middle of that. At the end of the game, you could see him grab a puck, and he skates off with it. And Chris Stewart and Corey Perry go after him, start hooking him. This is after the game is done. Buzzer has sounded. People are leaving, and they're like going after him. And he didn't run anybody. There was no knee on knee. There was no, and so he had to kind of glove Chris Stewart in the face and whatever.
Which is funny because this guy was teammates with these players
not 20 games ago.
Yeah, but weeks ago.
And so they're asking him after the game, why the whole tussle after the game? What happened?
What was with that?
And he said something very funny. Have you heard this story?
I have.
Okay. Would you like to?
Basically, after every win, the Ducks collect the puck and they keep it. Which, come on, the Marlies did something like that for their playoff run, where you collect a puck and it was in the shape of the Calder Cup. And if you collect 16 pucks, you win the whole thing. Over the course of an NHL regular season, especially if you're a good team, you're going to win like 45, 50 games. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have enough pucks to make a full set of tires. What are you doing with all these pucks? So Patrick Maroon, trollololol, took the puck. And they're like, what'd you do with it? And he's like, I threw it in the garbage.
Amazing. Which is amazing.
Awesome. Now, do you think there's any bitterness there? Like, you think he's mad he got traded?
I don't think he's mad he got traded. I think he wants to. And this is, I like Patrick Maroon's attitude so far. He's the kind of guy, and I hate to sound bitter, but when I was in a hockey dressing room for the house league and single A hockey that I played, the guys that I loved playing with were the guys that really got under the other players' skins in funny ways.
Oh yeah,
not the Sean Avery way, but the Patrick Maroon way. And it, like, they just trolled him. It's like when you're playing Halo and you die online and somebody crouches down on your head, right? And I'm not even going to tell you what that is, but you know.
I almost said it and then remembered the whole radio thing.
Yeah. I like that because it gives the Oilers a little bit of, we lost, but you didn't beat us. You didn't beat us mentally. And I think that's kind of it's funny. It's a funny thing.
I told you my NHL 16 strategy. I never, ever give someone the satisfaction of fighting me when I have the lead. Never. And I'll still run you after the whistle. Take shots at your goalie. I don't care.
I'm a bad man.
I'm a bad man.
I don't care. I just do it.
Steve, damn, you are out of control, man. Running people's goalies in Div 3? Are you crazy?
I will screw your virtual self up, sir.
You're out of control, Maverick.
I like to live dangerously, Wild. I also like to live wild, dangerously.
So Patrick Maroon, hats off to him. That was very funny. Well done. Yeah. Well done. Now Yakupov said yesterday in a Russian interview, which, by the way, Russian players, if you could learn to read Russian, they are far more frank with the Russian reporters than they ever are with the English ones.
Oh, definitely. Well, there's a lot of weird differences in languages, in the language.
But it feels like it's like if I tell this guy this in Russian, somehow it won't get translated to English. You know?
I don't know what it is. Like, there seems to be a real distrust of the North American media amongst Russian players.
Gee, I wonder why.
No, but then why then do they go to the Russian media and just say whatever they want as if it'll never get back?
Because I think they've got it all pent up in their human beings.
You know what, Adam? You're probably right. And if anyone can be a little pent up after the last few years, I'm going to go with Yakupov.
So,
especially the start to his career. A lot of people forget that, number 1 overall pick, supposed to start his NHL career, lockout. So he goes to Russia, he plays in the KHL for a while, then he joins the Oilers. I think he won the rookie scoring race and hasn't really gone so good since.
Now, he's definitely a player with talent. And if you haven't heard the story yet, the background is he asked for a trade before the trade deadline. He allowed quietly.
We didn't hear about it.
Nobody knew.
And Shirley was like, "Tell me something I don't know." I'm trying to trade you.
True. So then I guess 8 teams were interested, and what he said was it looked sort of like a done deal, from what I understand. And he kind of just said it fell apart. All he said was it fell apart. So which means that there was a deal in place with somebody. 8 teams interested. Somebody somewhere along the line screwed up. Now, if the deal fell apart, that means it was. If he's saying it that way, to me, that means Edmonton probably screwed this up. A, by wanting too much, or B, because they're Edmonton, but B, because they didn't want to trade him for whatever reason. For that particular thing, maybe they say, you know what? No, we're not going to trade him now. We're going to trade him in the summer. Because you can do that. You can do that. You can have a handshake agreement and go, you know what? No, I'm not doing it.
Now, what is it about the Oilers, though? Because it's a different coach. I don't know if they got some different scouts, but they got a different GM in Peter Chiarelli. How come the Oilers keep Oilering?
I mean, we can't say that this is a screw up yet, though, because we don't know what they got.
Well, and like I said, people get a little more lax at the draft. I mean, holy smokes, you saw what you could get for Griffin Reinhart at last year's draft.
Jeez.
Can the Oilers get another first for Yak?
Maybe.
Now, it's not great conversion on an asset. It's not great asset management because, like, let's say the Oilers get, I don't know, the 20th overall pick for Yakupov. You went from the first overall pick to the 20th. It's not good, but at least you're salvaging something.
You know where I do see a fit for him?
Where?
And they can make this deal right now. Tampa Bay.
Jonathan Drouin?
Yeah.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I do. Because I don't see anything that convinces me yet. Not that Jonathan Drouin doesn't have talent, but he's played 87, 88 games in the league, and he's scoring at about a 0.5 points per game pace, so about half.
He's been about a point a game.
What's Yak?
Since his comeback.
Okay, since his comeback, but that's in the AHL. Is he playing the NHL? Yeah, that's the
No, he's not. He's not in the NHL right now.
So that's what I mean by NHL numbers. Why wouldn't you make that deal? I mean, now Tampa probably doesn't want to make that deal right now because you do want Jonathan Drouin just in case somebody gets injured, even though you probably shouldn't bring him up.
And Yak makes money. They can't afford it. Over $2 million.
That's still not bad.
It's not bad, but they can't afford it.
Maybe this summer, that's the deal that transpires because you're trading a troubled asset for a troubled asset. First rounder for first rounder. You can sell it to your fan base. You can sell it to your owner. Because remember, that it factors into every trade as well. And financially, you can make that work. You can make $2 million versus $1 million work. Because Jonathan Drouin is going to make about $1 million.
They're tight on the cap. You can offer me a Bugatti for $100,000. I know it's a great deal, but I can't afford it.
Right. I just feel like Tampa's going to be able to afford it with Stamkos coming off the books.
That was an Adam Wild comparison.
No, but it makes sense.
That was very good.
That was a very good one.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought it was good. So, but this all was bungled from the beginning. And Mark Spector,
Bungled.
who we sometimes disagree with from time to time.
Rocked it yesterday on sportsnet.ca.
Jesse, you have his article up, and it's basically how the Oilers messed this up from the start, right?
Yeah, the Oilers brain trust they gathered in a room to discuss, hey, who are we going to pick number 1 overall? So Tambellini, GM at the time, asked everyone, hey, who do you think we should draft? And 9-2, they voted Ryan Murray over now Yakupov.
Now, this is not news. The 9-2 part is news. That's huge.
Yeah. So who they wanted? Sorry, it was
definitive.
Ryan Murray.
Okay.
Who went second to Columbus?
Yes.
It was not the strongest draft year. Morgan Riley went 5th.
Who?
Morgan Riley went 5th.
Yeah, he went 5th.
Yeah. Who would you rather have, Ryan Murray or
Yak? From the Oilers, probably Murray. But like a lot of Oilers fans, it's great how pessimistic they are. They're like, we would have screwed him up too. Like there were so many who were like, what does it even matter? But I knew that they wanted I knew that they wanted Murray over Yak. I didn't know it was that unanimous.
Mm-hmm. And then he talked to Kevin Lowe, and they came back and they decided, let's take Yakupov.
So Kevin Lowe takes a vote and then goes against his entire staff, which then sets the players up for, this isn't the guy we wanted, so the entire staff is now against this player.
Mm-hmm.
You used a lifeline. Who wants to be a reputable NHL franchise?
The crowd voted.
That's a great game.
They polled the audience.
Yeah.
Who wants to be a reputable, respectable NHL franchise? They polled the audience, got a very definitive answer, and went, I'm going to go with Yak.
Mm-hmm. And then Spector went into detail about some of the scouts, and a lot of them had Yakupov outside of their top 10. So they made their draft grade, and they didn't even have him in the top 10. They wanted Ryan Murray, first of all. And a couple of them, one of the votes for Yakupov was a flip-flop on Galchenyuk or Yakupov.
Now,
and then
there was a lot of that.
Yeah, to pick Yakupov.
Now, I don't blame Kevin Lowe for not trusting his scouts, because look at the rest of their record.
Now, continue your thought.
But just a little bit of an insight into how frustrating it must have been, not just to be an Oiler fan. Imagine you're one of the Oiler personnel working in this era, the Kevin Lowe era. He takes a poll of the room and says, we'll go with who the room chooses. 9 people take not Niall Yakupov. 2 say yes. Okay,
one is kind of on the fence.
Yeah.
How do you think that? Who do you guys think we should pick? I think we should pick Ryan Murray. Yeah, well, I got 6 cups. What? Is that how every conversation goes?
It must
6
have.
cups. Shut up.
So then Kevin Lowe gets fired, and what happens? New regime change, and you get fired too, because you were looped in with that. Doesn't that suck? That sucks.
Adam, what do you think? How good do you think Oilers scouts are?
I'm not going to attack them personally, but I would say that the draft record isn't the greatest.
Jesse, what do you think?
It's probably the cold, I would say. The cold of air of Edmonton.
Or maybe they gave them all great choices, but Kevin Lowe was like 6 cups. 6 cups.
Now, this is what I'm saying. Like, the Oilers, who have they really drafted outside of the first round for like a decade now? It's been pretty bad. But now there's evidence that they're not listened to.
Yeah. So you can't exactly fire the scouts on that.
I just wonder how many screw-ups are on them, and how many screw-ups are on management going, I want the big guy.
Yeah, Leafs did that.
This guy has 50 goals. I want the big guy.
So
6 cups.
So Spector tries to answer the obvious question,
which is,
hey, why didn't Tambellini listen to every guy in the room who said, don't take Yakupov? And he says, somehow the group of Lowe, McTavish, Tambellini, and Katz decided that the sexiest pick was Yakupov, and they're going to go for the only possible home run in the draft, which is 18-year-old.
Can you please list those freaking people
this is my favorite.
Just named again?
I know where you're going.
The brain trust of GM Tambellini, President Lowe, and then McTavish and Katz.
Daryl Cates is the owner! Word!
Is it Cates?
Holy smokes,
It's
you
Cates.
madman! Stop it! It's never good to have an owner involved. oh, well, it's the first overall pick. You got to get the owner involved. What? Is the first overall pick special? You're the Oilers. You've had like 9 of them in the last 8 years. Holy smokes. These people. Every show, I will yell and scream at the listeners. Don't you dare tell me you can't do something. Do you want to be an NHL executive one day? Go out and do it. Because there are literally madmen who are millionaires making ridiculous, stupid decisions every day. Every day, and they get paid boatloads of money for it. And when they get fired for being bad, they get hired again.
They get hired as broadcasters.
Yeah, to talk. I don't get it. They deserve it. You know what? Like, all these teams just deserve whatever they get. Hey, someone sent me a text yesterday.
What'd they say?
And this would be a perfect time to read it.
Let's do it.
Because Oilers fans, if you're sick of this, guess what? I'm going to jump onto your friends again. My favorite punching bag over the last couple months, the Vancouver Canucks. We got another gem from the province. Someone texted this excerpt to me because I didn't see the province article. If someone could...
By the way, the province digs up some good stuff.
Oh my God, yeah.
Wow.
If someone knows what I'm talking about, can you send me the link so I can tweet it and give proper credit, please? The headline is Most Embarrassing Signing.
This is good already.
Yeah. Not a lot has gone right for the Canucks recently. You can add Nikita Triumkin's contract to that list.
This is the most recent signing who they couldn't sign?
Most recent signing, very, very big player. And supposedly he's been playing well so far. So I don't think they're criticizing his play. Tramkin. That's what I'm going to call him. So I can actually get through the article.
Yep.
Okay, not a lot has gone right for the Canucks recently, and you can add Nikita Tramkin's contract to that list. The Canucks tried to sign him earlier than they did, but to a 3-year deal. We talked about this.
Right. Couldn't fit him.
It was a contract that was rejected by the NHL because it was not in accordance with CBA rules, which is something we also talked about before. The NHL subsequently sent out an email blast to the league that wasn't exactly flattering for Canucks management. The email was sent to Benning, but all the league's GMs and assistant GMs were CC'd. In it, the NHL pointed out that Tramkin's date of birth is August 30th, 1994, and by CBA rules, it means he's 22 years old. Players who are 22 or 23 years old are to be signed to 2-year entry-level deals, not 3.
And we mentioned that in the last show, didn't we? Did we talk about that? I feel like
I don't
I've
think
heard
we
that.
brought it up on air. We talked about it off.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
Everyone listening right now, if you want to be an assistant GM, you want to work for an NHL team, you want to be a GM,
You can.
give it a shot. Give it a shot. But what do I know? But what do I know? Dude, what do these guys know? They're literally sending rules to each other through like MSN Messenger. How much does Jim Benning make? Oh my God. Oh my God.
And by the way,
But why do the Canadian teams suck, guys? Because they're run by crazy people.
you got to check out the video of this on the Steve Dangle podcast YouTube channel, which is a channel, because Steve is pulling his hair. Physically pulling his hair.
Not so crazy people.
It is. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this is why, and we know it's crazy. And I just, with Yakupov, it's another blown asset. If they can get something for him, then Chiarelli is the guy who is going to turn things around there. But if they get like a third and a fourth package, which is, I would say, more than likely what they're probably going to get, unless people get a little crazy around trade deadline.
I would think.
What's a reclamation project worth?
Well, you said they could get Durant. You don't think they can get them?
I think it makes sense to me, but I feel also like, there's a lot of teams out there that makes sense. But I don't think that you can go and say, I want your best prospect from any team. I think because Durant is a troubled asset, right?
Drouin's issues have largely been off ice. Whereas the Oilers feel, I don't know if I agree, but the Oilers feel like they've given Yakupov every opportunity to succeed and he hasn't taken it. Mm-hmm. Which, I saw him play with Connor McDavid. He was pretty good there. And
Benoit Pouliot. I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't keep playing them together.
I don't know either. But the Oilers have been better since McDavid got back, so I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know what the compensation package would be. You would hope it would be high. You would think it would be high. But if they go to a team like the Leafs and go, do you want now Yakupov? People are like, yeah, we'll give you a bag of pucks. Not because he's not a great player, but because the Leafs are like, we're not giving you a great potential prospect for someone who's a reclamation project. We're just not going to do that.
I think the person was Dmitry Filipovich from Canucks Army, Sportsnet.ca, Hockey PDO-cast. Step one, or he was going through the steps to being a successful NHL GM, and the first step is find the GMs who make bad decisions, and number two, call them all the time. Now, I'm not saying Peter Chiarelli is that guy, but
the Oilers are that team.
The Oilers are that team, which is a very interesting mix.
Never underestimate the Cates. Never underestimate the owner.
Do you think Chiarelli's making these decisions?
I mean, listen.
Do you think he has autonomy?
If Chiarelli did not get a package before the trade deadline that would work for the Oilers, then I commend him for not making the deal. If the deal was nixed, like it sort of kind of sounds like, by the Oilers, it means they had a deal in place that Chiarelli thought was fair that Cates probably didn't. That is complete conjecture. I don't know if that's the case. That is hypothetical. But there's a bit of something happened with the Oilers on that.
Say what you will about Brian Burke and his tenure with the Leafs and his tenure in the NHL in general. Can you imagine him taking an order?
No.
He'd tell you to kiss his patoot.
Yeah. And he'd be like, sign my papers, I'm out. See ya. No, he wouldn't. Wow, he'd make you fire him.
I think he wanted the Leafs to win. I think he likes Toronto. I don't know if he misses being GM of the Leafs. You know what I mean?
A lot of politics. Probably not fun.
A lot of politics. Well, and also things have changed significantly since he was GM. So, maybe, let's just say if he were to rejoin, things would be different. But you can't be ordering your GM around. If a guy like Shanahan gives a GM an order, which, by the way, you can't give Lou Lamoriello an order, sorry. But if a guy like Shanahan or a guy like Burke gives a GM an order, I'm much, much more comfortable with that than the owner. How many consecutive podcasts can we go through this and have it be a different team? Idiots!
We got to go on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. The podcast is brought to you by Panago Pizza. It's what's on the inside that counts. And we will continue this discussion at sportsnet.ca on the download portion. You can download or subscribe to, or both, the Steve Dangle podcast on iTunes at this moment. Steve is red-faced.
I'm sorry for yelling at you.
Steve, are you good?
Got a little out of hand.
It did. Let's talk about something that you might like, actually, and that's the fact that Phil Kessel is on fire.
Is he on fuego?
He's on fuego. He's done
lit.
Yes. And it's kind of nice to see, isn't it?
I'm so proud of my Phil. Someone sent me an interesting question on Twitter. So, the Penguins doing super well in the playoffs is not good news for the Leafs. Because the Leafs need the Penguins to make the playoffs to get that first round pick. They don't need them to succeed. In fact, what would be perfect is the Penguins making the playoffs in the last wild card seed and then getting knocked out first round. That would be perfect because then the Leafs would get the best possible pick. However, what if instead of the, let's say, 15th overall pick, you got the 30th overall pick and you got to see everyone's head explode because Phil Kessel won the cup? What would you take? I think my answer is the funsies one. My answer is the funsies.
Yeah.
I want to see everyone's head explode.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't care. Listen, you got a second first round pick.
Also, you can call up, it sounds like half the teams in the league and just bippity boppity boo your way into assets because they're run by crazy people.
For sure. True. I just feel like, who cares where the Penguins finish? We have a second first round pick. Period. End of story. Let's not even bring it up anymore.
If you could pick first and second, wouldn't you want to do it?
But does it? The thing is that if it mattered that much to the Leafs, they wouldn't have called up all the great players that they've called up, and they would have left Nylander and all these other guys in the Marlies.
There were guys they could have called up. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Like I just don't. If you're the Leafs, you have to be and you should be so confident in your scouting. That it doesn't matter. You lose 10 spots. Yeah, you might lose some great players, but you also know that there's hundreds left that could be just as good. Truly, like remember we were talking when Justin Bourne was on the show.
He had some great insight. Yeah.
What is the difference between a 20th and a 30th?
Yeah, what's the damn difference? I still remember him saying it. Ran into him recently at Marlies practice.
How's he doing?
He seems to be doing very well. They're all very tight-lipped though. It's interesting
because he now works for the Leafs. Don't you know?
You can't get too deep into the Leafs questions with these guys. It's interesting because I'm the worst reporter ever because I'm not actually trying to dig anything up.
But they're still weary,
as they should be. I'm okay with it.
I want to know what the meeting, your first meeting after you get the job with Lou Lamoriello is like, and what. I mean, it's Shanahan, it's Lamoriello, you got to think. Because Dubas isn't intimidating. He seems like a very smart guy. But when you look at Shanahan and you look at Lamoriello, they're scary. Like, I wouldn't want to be in a back alley with Lou Lamoriello in a one-on-one fight. He'd probably win.
Dubas is intimidating in that you get 1 second in and you're like, shit, you're smarter than me. You're like for sure smarter than me.
Yeah, he's a smart man.
Yeah.
I would think it's like
maybe he just comes across.
I would think it's like when you become president and then the like CIA dude walks in. He's like, "All right, Area 51, everything you've heard, it's true. And you get to learn all the secrets of the world." That's what it's like working for the Leafs.
But if you tell anyone, we'll castrate you.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. All those promises you made. Here's why they're all impossible. Here's why they are all like literally the world will burn. We didn't want you to get elected. By the way, we kind of make sure people get elected and don't get elected, all that stuff.
Lou's got to be like, listen, if you do this, like what is the retribution or what? I'm sure not only do you get fired from the Leafs if you leak information and are caught, but you never work in the NHL again. Like, that's got to be like I know people in every organization.
It's that Glenn Ross thing. Second prize, set a steak nice. Third prize is you're fired. I think that's exactly what it's like, and I think everyone is well aware. The one bummer when Lou got hired is I think everyone was already fired by that point. He didn't really get to fire anybody.
No. Well, interesting. Phil Kessel doing well.
Oh, yes.
So sorry. Did someone send you something that you want to get to?
Yes, but if you want to expand on Kessel, we can.
Well, I just wanted to say the Pittsburgh Penguins are 3 points behind the Rangers and a lot behind the Capitals. They're not catching the Capitals, but it's looking more and more like they've got a very secure spot in the playoffs. And all I care about is that they get the pick. Because remember, they don't make the playoffs this year and then they don't make the playoffs next year. Because to me, that's a big deal. They don't make the playoffs this year. How much better are they getting next year?
Yeah, my worry has been I'm not certain the Penguins, as good as they've been, will be better next year.
Because they're kind of up against the cap. They don't have huge, amazing prospects coming up.
You want Crosby and Malkin
in their prime
now.
Yeah.
Letang.
Yes.
Fleury.
So
even Kessel.
I want them to just get it and get us the pick, and then it's over and we don't have to think about it. That's what I want.
I have a random Pittsburgh question afterwards.
Sure.
Gotta say that to remind myself.
Someone on Twitter by the name of Santeri Swanpa.
And people rip me for name pronunciation. We're all bad, okay? We're all bad.
You pronounce that.
All right.
No, but that's
Let me try. Let me take a shot. Santeri Tanahupa. Tanhaunpa.
Well, anyway, this person sent me...
They're Finnish, right? That's Finnish.
Yes, oh yeah.
There's like a P with a thing. There's like a Motley Crue like thing on top of the P. What's going on?
An umlaut?
Yeah.
They
Jesse or Steve, do not turn your microphone to the side.
Okay.
Because it's a directional mic. There we go. Perfect.
No, but I need to turn it towards my laptop.
Okay, but you got to just turn your head.
But listen, Dad.
Dad. Okay. Because I love you. I want people to be able to hear you.
Apparently, I struggled so hard to pronounce the Leafs' new goalie's name in the new video that he sent me a recording of how to say it.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Kismiri?
Just in case I was a bit too quick pronouncing the name in the first clip, it's Casimir Koskisuo.
Kasimiri?
Finnish is a weird language, just... yeah, I know, okay.
At least he admits it. We have Finnish listeners who are like, hey, there's nothing wrong with our language. I mean, no, but it's just very different.
Okay.
It's Casimir Koskisuo.
Casimir Koskisuo.
I like that. It's a strong name.
It is.
Casimir.
It's way better than I said.
It's like a king from the ancient world. And King Casimir did say.
I was going to say he's the Finnish Fabio.
I like that too. He's good. Who was the good? Tobias Lindberg. Good looking guy.
He's the Swedish Fabio.
He sure is.
He's a rocket.
Damn. If he is ever a standout player in the NHL, Aaron Ekblad, watch out. He's coming for your Instagram followers. Okay.
He is a hashtag rocket.
He is. Hashtag rocket.
He's a hashtag rocket.
Stop objectifying him, Steve.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. No, he's a hockey player first and second, third. You're right.
Yeah.
I should respect his craft.
The thing with Phil Kessel heating up and the thing with the Penguins is that, we get the pick and that sort of thing, and they do one of two things. They pick at that whatever position they're at, or they trade it down. No matter what, you can't root against the Penguins. You must continue, because remember, a week and a half ago, they were almost on the outside looking in. I'm good with some security on this one. You've already got a top 10, probably top 5, chances are top 5, top 3 pick with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's not get greedy.
The wild jinx.
Let's not get greedy.
You shouldn't have said that.
I said maybe. Probably, maybe.
I like Babcock's.
I didn't say definitely.
I like Babcock's little theory that we played before the show, where,
What do you say?
I think if you do good things happen. Something along those lines. Basically.
Karma.
Yeah, well, if we screw things up royally and, fucking shitty Oilers, drop into 30th and the fucking shitty Canucks. I just want to make Babcock swear. That's all. Let's say we get into 24th. I think we'll win the lottery because God is a Leaf fan.
I have a point about that.
That's verbatim.
I have a point about that, and I kind of wanted it ties in perfectly with this show, and I've been thinking about it for a while, and I keep forgetting to bring it up, and tell me what you guys think. If the Leafs are drafting third, okay, and
they won a lottery.
They won a lottery. Let's say they're drafting third, and the Canucks and the Oilers are ahead of you. If you're the Leafs, do you kind of look at that and go,
how can I screw these idiots?
Yeah, A, yes. B, do you count on one of them screwing up?
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, you have to, because when you got to pick that high, ownership's like, what are we doing?
Well,
especially if it's family.
We literally know that to be a truth.
So even if the Leafs draft third, even if they draft third behind, as long as it's behind Vancouver and Edmonton, which it's looking more and more like it might be.
All right, well, Matthews is out.
Yeah. yeah.
He's out.
That's easy.
It's an easy pick. He's out. But then the odds of you getting whoever you had behind Matthews, I'd say, are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Leafs are last place in the NHL right now. Edmonton and Vancouver are each 2 points up on them.
How many more games have the Oilers played and the Canucks?
The Oilers only have 3 games left in the season. They're at 79 games played. I didn't even realize that. Wow. The Leafs have 75 left. Have played 75, and Vancouver's played 75. So the Oilers actually still,
Edmonton.
By percentages, Edmonton still has the better shot at getting the first round because they've played more games.
By the way, does anyone remember my end of season prediction for how many points the Leafs would have?
67.
67.
They currently sit at 65. I said 60.
Can I ask my Pittsburgh Penguins question?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, sorry, buddy.
I had to finish things.
So next year when Las Vegas whatevers do their expansion draft, who do you protect? That goalie Murray, who's supposed to be the future of the Penguins, or Marc-Andre Fleury? You only get one.
Oh. Wow.
Murray.
Then you gotta...
Because you have to expose salary. 25% of your salary.
Well, okay, you're not exposing Crosby.
And you're not exposing Malkin, and you're not exposing Kessel.
I think they do.
Expose Kessel?
I think they expose Kessel, yeah. I bet they do. They've already said, needlessly, that they're disappointed in his point totals as he's heating up. Which, again...
Pittsburgh's another team. Another team where I don't know if it's ownership.
Stop letting management talk.
I feel like it's Jim Rutherford. I think Jim Rutherford is messing up the... Even though they've done okay...
The Trevor Daley deal was good for them.
It was a good deal.
They moved out
Sure.
Rob Scuderi, and they got another defenseman who's not great, but he does really good things in the Pittsburgh system. Firing Mike Johnson a little late, but he did it.
So you're letting your number one goalie walk to Las Vegas?
Boy, I think... Well, see, I think
if you're exposing Kessel, then maybe you don't have to.
You let your future
No,
goalie?
you do, though,
or your
because
number
you
one?
can only protect one goalie.
Yeah, you got one.
Well, yeah, but I guess, too, if you're going to expose Kessel, does that not then mean that you're...
But they can only take one... They can only take one pick from you.
Yeah, one player.
One player, sorry.
Yeah.
Who do you take, Fleury or Kessel? Like, you expose them both.
You take a number one goalie.
Yes. You take a number one goalie, and if you're the Penguins, you probably hope for Kessel to.
That puts their franchise like 5 years ahead of where it would be.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe you do expose Murray because you've got to win now if you're the Penguins, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the chances are they're going to go for the hot prospect because they want to be... They don't want necessarily a guy like Phil Kessel right away.
Never a dull moment, man. Isn't this a fun league to cover?
Sure is.
It's just a fun league to talk
Because,
about.
you know,
it's silly.
It's so...
It's like a video game.
It is! Yeah! It's unpredictable, and I think that's the best part. We rag on them for not being predictable, but what would we be? Like, it's almost like, you know, when George W. Bush was in office for the States, which two shows benefited mostly from that? Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
They just lit him up at every, and that was kind of their. Now they were big before, but they kind of rose because of that divide, and I feel like that's what's happening here.
This is a little behind the scenes thing. Like, maybe the camera picks it up. Every time Adam starts a comparison, it's Jesse and I don't actually make eye contact, but like mentally we go,
Where's it going?
he's doing it.
Seatbelts.
What's he gonna say?
But it is, right? It is. They're unpredictable. They're a little bit crazy, and it's fun.
You're right.
Thank
You're
you.
right.
Wow.
I just wanted to make fun of you, but there was nothing to be made fun of.
Thank you.
That was a good, yeah, you're right. That was
Slid
a good
on.
historical wild fact.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I
Because it wasn't
appreciate
really a
that.
comparison. It was kind of just a reference.
Yeah.
Right, but when he goes, it's like George W. Bush. I'm like, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
This is gonna be really good. Here we go. Here we go.
We are going to we're going to be at the Marlies game this weekend.
Yes,
That is this weekend.
Oh, is it at the ACC or the Rico?
Holy
Steve
shit,
Dangle?
I'm an idiot. Adam, did you see that
I
little
did.
adventure?
I did.
So, my good friend Justin and I showed up to Rico, and
Justin Fisher?
No, different Justin. It didn't occur to us that no one got off the train with us.
Mm-hmm.
No one walked up to Rico with us. There was no crowd outside the arena. It was just
no one taking tickets.
no one taking tickets. It was just me, my buddy,
And the horses.
and there were. Funny you should say there were two cops walking by like, what are you doing here? And there was a dad and his like toddler son, and the dad did the same thing we did. He was like, oh, and so we split an Uber to the ACC and had the slowest driver of all time. But it was okay. We got there when it was 1-1 and the Marlies won 5-3. So I saw most of the goals.
That is fantastic.
I'm
That's
just
so,
such an idiot.
Listen, I want to make fun, but it's not like I haven't done the same exact thing. Did I
You've
tell
gone
you guys?
to a different arena?
No, I've never done that, but I remember I bought.
So you didn't do the same exact thing.
I bought tickets to. I broke
my leg once. Oh, that's like this one time I forgot my lunch.
No, I bought tickets to
Exact same thing.
to a concert, and I didn't realize that the concert would be played twice in an evening. So it was a part of a Christmas present for Caprice this past year. It was for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is like the big,
Oh, yeah.
which would have been sick.
I've seen them.
Only all of a sudden on my phone, because it'll like lock in.
A notification in case you forget about the concert.
Yeah, at 4 p.m. And I was like, 4 p.m.? What? And so I look online. I bought tickets, $150 tickets, two times over. So $300 on tickets to the 4 p.m. show.
Oh,
And
no.
there was also one at 8. And I was like,
Oh, I've made an egregious error.
yes. So then that's somebody's present. So then I have to make the phone call of shame. So I get it, man. I mean, I know it's a different situation, but been there. And that sucks.
Did you get to go to the show?
No.
You had to eat $300?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. At least you got to go. I was working. It was during Blake and Wild.
You couldn't just spend another $300?
No, I couldn't.
Just say, hey,
because he spent it on his playoff tickets.
True. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah. That was.
Didn't he also go to the wrong airport once?
Yeah, we talked about that last episode. Dulles and Ronald Reagan. You never heard of Die Hard? Thanks.
Oh yeah,
Steve, you were here for that. That was last episode.
Was he
you
though?
have family from Montreal?
Yes, my
This is Adam Wild.
Hi, I'm Adam.
Oh my God.
I stood up with you in your wedding.
Was Steve there?
Steve was.
Does he remember?
I think
Were
he
you
was
at my
there.
wedding?
Yeah, was at your wedding.
Did you have a wedding?
Hosted his wedding? Actually, was the MC.
wow.
Did you go to Moet?
Did. So yeah. Anyway, we are days away from going to this game, and we've got this thing through SeatGeek. People are asking. They're like, I'm checking the SeatGeek app. I've set notifications. I'm not seeing any tickets come up.
Well,
That's because they sold out, and that's amazing.
that is twice over. They sold out.
We don't know if there are any tickets left. We're going to see what we can do for anybody that still wants to come, but we want you to be there as part of the Dangle Navy from SeatGeek.
We're
Dangle
gonna
Navy.
pull more strings.
Yes, we're going to see what strings we can pull through SeatGeek. And by the way, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, I suggest you do it. It's great for concerts and that sort of thing. And it, again, you can set alerts on your phone.
It's easy to use.
Yeah.
I suck with apps, and I got it in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Set alerts on your phone, and that way you don't have to wait for us to tweet out the link. Which would probably happen at midnight anyway, because Steve's up like a vampire. Yeah, so you don't have to rely on Steve to send it out. You get the notification as soon as the tickets are released, and you're good to go. And that goes for any concert, anything. It's all there. Go to SeatGeek.com.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? It's the details. Jesse's detailed. We are not.
If we do go to the Marlies,
Which would probably
like Tobias Lindberg and Colin Smith. Mm-hmm.
I was on Sportsnet.ca the other day,
You don't say.
and I saw an article
What?
written by, who was it? Damian Cox
Oh, yes.
about
He always
Tobias
writes
Lindberg.
about the Marlies.
It was
Yes.
about Tobias Lindberg. Steve, did you read that article?
I didn't.
No.
I read this other one though. It was by a stunning writer.
Okay.
I mean, in terms of writing skill and sexual attraction.
Mike Harrington.
And he told me about this Marlies writer. I fucking wrote an article about Tobias Lindberg.
Yes, we know. Yes.
And I wrote another one about Colin Smith.
That's going
and
up today,
I think
right?
They're really good.
Colin Smith's going up today?
It actually went up just before the show.
Amazing. So that is up right now. The Tobias Lindberg one, at least, is really, really interesting because it's about him wanting to be the name in the Phaneuf trade. He's not currently the name in the Phaneuf
Well,
trade.
I definitely put those words in his mouth. But we learned about what Sheldon Keefe thinks of him. Mm-hmm. And what he thinks he can be, and the way he talks about him. You can't hear the audio, so I guess I'll convey it now. It was very exciting. He basically said Lindberg teases the Marlies with, and he said it like this, glimpses that he can be a dominant player. And that's how he said it. And first thing I thought right away was how Flyers fans told me JVR would be when he was first traded to the Leafs. He can take over any game he wants, he just has to want it. And if it's funny, if you look at Lindbergh's point totals, he's got a lot of multi-point games. And then slumps. And then games where he clearly just goes... It's very exciting.
Yeah, and look at... And the Leafs were in the playoff hunt, truly, until JVR went down.
They were. I mean, they weren't that far back. I think 5 points, maybe 6. Mm-hmm. They were in it.
They were in the hunt.
Now, I'm not saying Lindberg is like JVR.
I'm not saying the Leafs would make the playoffs. I'm not.
Well, that too. I'm not saying he's even a similar player. I'm just saying there's that when he wants it, he's going to get it.
And there are people who could say, well, Steve, they could just be trying to pump up his value. But no, they just picked him up in a trade. I don't think that's think that's what they're trying to do. They are pretty honest.
And DJ Smith, who's the Leafs assistant coach, was his coach last year in Oshawa when they won the Memorial Cup. He assisted on the Memorial Cup winning goal in overtime. And also Mark Hunter sought him out directly in this deal. Mark Hunter, the scout of scouts. So that was very exciting. And then Colin Smith has 14 points in 14 games, which might change by the time you hear this podcast.
And he was from Chicago.
Colorado.
Colorado.
Colorado's farm team, San Antonio.
For Sean
Sean
Matthias. I almost said Sean Matthias. Sean Matthias.
That's a bad situation, San Antonio to Colorado.
I actually don't know how far that is.
That's not it's not a bad flight because they're kind of central. And
it's just, you think walk over the street.
No, that's true.
Come to the game today.
But like if you think
ride
of
your
like
bike.
Vegas and Calgary is like 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's not that. So San Antonio is a little further south, but so is Denver. So I don't think it wouldn't be that bad. It'd still be expensive though. Any call up that you make, you're booking a flight, right? That's $1,000
Unless you're the Leafs.
Unless you're the Leafs. Anyway,
it's beautiful. Colin Smith is not a very excitable guy, but he's a very exciting player. Check out the article I wrote because there's a video in it of a goal he scored against the St. John's Whitecaps last weekend, and I missed it because I went to the wrong arena, but at least I saw the video of it.
This is great. This is all
It was the 1-1 goal. I fucking missed it.
Hey, Jesse, I know we have this Dangle Navy thing this Saturday. You're coming, right?
Is it in Oshawa?
If we ever had a Dangle Navy visit to is it GM Place now? And what do they call it in Oshawa? What's the arena?
GM Center.
GM Center in Oshawa. Would you be there?
If Panago flies me, yes.
Wow!
If I have to get there myself,
you could do that.
If I have to get there myself, I'm not going.
In Oshawa? Oh yeah, there is. No, but it's like a dirt runway, isn't it?
We need to make this happen. Oh, no, that makes it even better. Let's see how Jesse handles that.
Will Jesse make it? Just will he make it alive?
If I'm paying or if I have to make it there myself, I'm not going.
Wow.
Which one of us is the fancy man?
I know. It's like all this has gone to his head. It's crazy.
You know, you take one flight and your life changes. You can't ever go back. I had delicious steam whistle.
Jesse is becoming
60,000 feet in the air.
He's becoming the fanciest man on this show. I mean, I piss Hundy. Steve, you were the original fancy man, but I think Jesse is now officially the fanciest man.
I wore my top hat and monocle on my Porter flight.
What song
did you develop Marvin Gardens as well?
I did.
You put a hotel there?
I did.
Good.
What song did you listen to while looking out the window just going, I'm the shit?
We Made It by Soulja Boy and Drake.
I knew he had an answer.
I forgot. Yeah. Was that or All I Do Is Win? That's what I was thinking he was going to go with.
No,
All I
those
Do Is
horns, they came off the top. Life was immaculate.
This guy, man. This guy. A couple
It'd be
things.
cool to be Jesse for like a day.
Yeah. Well, it'd just be cool to be tall and handsome for a day.
That would be cool.
I would love to know what that feels like.
It would be pretty neat.
It was funny. We were in the studio last night, and Blake and Devo Brown. So Devo does our evening show after us. Who are both attractive people. We're talking about what it's like to be hit on. And they were talking about various situations. And it occurred to me that because they're like, yeah, Keg. Like Devo's like, this girl said this to me about my man bun. And then Blake's like, yeah, and this guy said this to me. And they're both like, that's so awkward. Why would they say that? And I'm like, it occurred to me that this has never happened in my entire life.
They have a different...
None of these... My life experience... being a unattractive, pretty much person is very different from them who are legit, like visually, like stunning people. They're head turners.
Steve.
Yes.
Adam's stretching the truth a little bit because one time we had
let's
an
not name
artist
names.
who I will not name.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
She came in and she was on top of the mixing board trying
that's
to
not the
get
case.
at that giant
That's a
head.
little bit of a... And now Blake claims that this person was...
She climbed on top. You know Nicki Minaj in that one video for
Anaconda?
Never seen it.
Yeah.
where she does she was like, but yeah, she
Never
was
seen
doing
it
that on the mic.
My Anaconda didn't. But I'm also, you know... I was like completely oblivious, right? I didn't know, didn't care, didn't think anything of it.
Jesse.
And no, And then Blake was like, that was so uncomfortable. I'm like, what? What was so uncomfortable? She's like,
girled out.
what? You didn't see any of that? And I still to this day don't think it's to the level that Blake makes it out to be because Blake is like, oh my God, she was all right. And I'm like, I don't understand that. But Blake, when you bring it up to her, she gets fiery about it. Like it happened. Okay, stop doubting me. It happened.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like
It
you
reminds
with
me-
Daryl Cates picking a first round pick, frustrated.
That was really intense for
was.
the radio. I should dial it back.
No, you should. You should just be you.
You
do you, boo.
Your situation there reminds me of this comic I've seen. It's like, girls subtly hitting on me. And like what they think I need. And it's like, I don't know, they drew a picture of like some kind of subtle hint. It's like what I actually need. And it's a dude standing in the middle of a runway with like flares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am interested in you.
True.
I'm
True.
with you on the seldom getting hit on wagon. It is so rare. But every now and then it happens for me. And here's how rare it is and how special it is in my life. I tell my wife, I go, I got hit on today. That's great, honey.
Pats you on the head.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's really proud of me when it happens.
I love that she just walks through life, no threat. Like there's just nothing.
And Iggy runs over and Steve's like, hey!
Hey, speaking of which, happy birthday, Iggy. Happy birthday, Igloo, Australia, Dangle. Congratulations on being one.
Well done. Well done.
No, but Steve did put a montage video together, which is adorable.
Fucking cute.
That dog was, God, what a cute puppy. Oh my God.
Right? Little polar bear.
Are you posting that on your YouTube channel?
No. But
Why?
It's for hockey videos.
Steve.
We should post it on the Steve Dangle podcast.
Yeah. Can we take it and put it up there?
Sure, I'll give it to you.
Because
Do you
guaranteed.
have a thing? USB?
A thumb drive,
There you go.
a USB stick.
USB stick.
I do.
That is guaranteed going to be the most watched video we put up.
Probably.
I can guarantee it. Because there's a dog and it's a young dog. And it's set to sweet music.
Jesse's gonna change it, like just to be a dick. Work, working the machine.
What song is that?
It's by Iggy Azalea.
That's her new one, isn't it?
I thought you guys
Yeah,
got
I knew
that
it.
joke.
We don't
Is
play
that how it goes?
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
no kidding, you don't play it. It's a
I
shitty
listened
song.
to it
Yeah.
once and never again.
Yeah, that is a brutal
Couldn't
song.
sing it if you paid me.
Working on my. She has this thing. She just the way she says things. I'm like, oh. But when you see her in interviews, she's cool as hell.
When we've talked about this a little bit before, but when do people decide someone's career is over? Because she
a good
had
question.
hit after hit after hit.
No, did she?
They were popular songs.
Well, okay. So there was the
Fancy.
Fancy.
It was very popular.
There was the one before that kind of launched her underground that people like Blake loved her for, which was.
I believe it's Punani.
Is that a better word than the actual name of the song? I don't think it is. The name of the song is.
it?
The name of the song is Pussy. That's the name of the song.
It's the name of the song.
Okay. It makes us uncomfortable to say that because
You're just reciting the name of a song.
I'm just reciting the name of the song.
To be fair, the word did have $2 signs instead of S's.
Oh.
So maybe you should have said it
PU
that
$sign $Y.
There you go.
No, but like she had like
That was a big
big singles, and then people decided to throw her in the garbage.
Because she fought everyone on Twitter, and nobody likes a Twitter boxer. Nobody likes the guy who's in the corner with small man syndrome trying to punch you out on Twitter. Nobody likes that.
Meek Mill, Iggy Azalea.
True.
Cat
Very
Williams.
true. Cat Williams.
No, he just fights people.
Physically.
Jesse and I were talking about how sad it makes us that Cat Williams is crazy. We thought he was pretend crazy.
He was so funny too. But Cat Williams never. I don't know if there is that I think there's a mental problem there, right?
I don't know.
I don't want to assume, but if there isn't, then Cat Williams have never heard the expression "you don't have to attend to every fight you're invited to."
Well, and in his last special, he joked about getting arrested 5 times in 5 days. And it's actually kind of funny. Like, he's making fun of himself for being a train wreck. And then he continues to be a worse train wreck.
It's weird. Hey,
The
we
reason he can tell that joke is because his life is kind of fucked up.
do we have a in-game promotion?
Yeah, we can do it real quick.
Real quick.
I did-
Okay,
I did have one.
in the
Yeah, I
meantime,
forgot about my car.
skatetoGreat.org. We are still, it's coming down to the end of the season. So they're collecting now pads and skates and everything, but mostly skates for the beginning of next season. So if you got anything, if you're replacing your skates, if they're old, they're rusty, if they look like they belong to Bobby Orr, that's cool. They'll take them. Just, it's for kids who cannot afford them.
Imagine
Period.
wearing greatness. What if they belong to Bobby Orr?
Well, I wouldn't give those away. I would hang on to those ones.
Because you could auction them off and then donate
Give all the
money
money to skatetogreat.org. Yeah, anyway.
So the Senators have a promotion called Don't Toss It. I'm not going to give you the last word because it's going to give away what they're telling you to not toss. But don't toss it. Bring it to the game and we'll do something with it.
Tabs on your Coca-Cola, because you can donate the little tabs to the Girl Guides, I believe, to get wheelchairs made.
Yeah, there's something
I think it's that.
Because they were recently asking
toss
for
it.
old Sens memorabilia. But why would they? Who
there such a
throws
thing?
away memorabilia?
Is there such a thing as old? Oh, man, I get throw back to that season they had 10 wins. Boy, that was memorable.
Throwing out my Alfredson jersey.
I got Radulov gloves. Great.
Your weathered Alexei Yashin jersey?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of that backup goalie who had the Hasek helmet, but played very much not like Hasek.
I have NHL 98. Sorry.
All right, don't toss it. Bring it to the Sens game and they're going to do something with it.
I feel like they wouldn't call like a memorabilia drive, don't toss it.
Think about the Senators this season. Stuff happened. People.
Enough jerseys.
Well, I mean, there was Eugene Melnick's health. So
I don't think they'd go that serious.
Is it Leaf jerseys?
Adam, what's your guess?
I said tabs on the thing. I'm going to go with tabs with the Girl Guides. That's my.
Steve Dangle, everyone.
Oh, he got it! Yes! Leafs jersey?
Don't toss your FNUF jersey. They will exchange it for 50% off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Steve Dangle.
Yeah.
Whoa. Watch the microphones. Wow.
Yeah.
Well done,
Wow,
man. Well
congratulations.
done. Finally, we got one of them.
Yeah.
That's
Congrats.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Damn. That's a good promotion.
Shout
too.
out Zach on Twitter who sent it.
Yo, that is a good promotion.
Yeah,
Good
it's
on
great.
the Sens.
So bring your Toronto Maple Leafs FNUF jersey and they'll give you a Sens FNUF
Good for
jersey
you.
for 50%
Steve
off.
Dangle has won on the NHL. And you hated the game.
Yeah.
It's a pretty damn good game, I
You
say.
hater.
Listen. I overcame though, didn't I?
Every
I
time-
deserve to be nominated for the Masterton.
Every time Steve says listen, it's like the most pregnant pause, and then there's like an
And
explosion.
then yelling.
We can't all be grade A under A. Okay. So listen.
Thank you, Steve.
You're right.
For anybody that doesn't know what grade A under A is, check out the YouTube channel.
He's much more popular than you or I, sir.
far more popular.
People know who he is.
Let's do the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
I'm doing a lot of yelling.
Yeah, it's exhausting, this
I'm
episode.
tired.
All right.
If the Leafs, this is from Maxwell on Twitter, if the Leafs didn't get Babcock, who's their coach right now?
Bilesma seems to make a lot of sense.
I think Boucher was actually in the running.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think it's Boucher.
Sorry, Boucher. Guy Boucher. He was supposedly like gonna get it.
Yeah, he
And
was.
then they got Babcock to the last second.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing he's not in the league.
Which team do you think needs a total rebranding of their logos and jerseys?
The Buffalo Sabres.
So they got to change their name and they got to change all the jerseys.
No,
Which team?
no, maybe not. No, rebranding?
I like their current jersey.
Buffalo?
They need to leave it. Leave it. Stop doing these. They
The
do these-
Digimon
The little
thing.
tweak,
Yeah.
yeah, they had the Buffa slug.
Yeah.
They need to stop. They do all these little tweaks, and they do another thing that teams do that drives me nuts. They don't change their colors. They change the hue. Like, we're blue, but we're going to be a different kind of blue this year. Just pick it, stick to that color, and make that your color for at least 10 years, for the love of God.
You're talking a full rebrand?
Yeah.
See, that's tough. Like, change your name.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, before Drake signed on with the Raptors, they were actually considering doing,
They're possibly going to go to the Huskies,
which is so
Which is their,
stupid.
an old team.
Well, because that'll make the team better. Just change the name that's been there for 20 years.
Would be a full rebrand. They'd have to go to blue and white.
Which would line up with every other Toronto sports team.
Or you could just take the Raptors logo and make it blue and white.
Or you could go back to the purple jerseys that everyone loved. and
Yeah,
wanted.
the jerseys this year are I like those.
No, the purple stripes, the pinstripes, no. On basketball jerseys, no.
What?
Looks ridiculous.
Oh, I
the
disagree.
cartoon dinosaur on the front?
I like the cartoon dinosaur.
No.
I'm not
Their new
crazy.
logo's cool. It's growing on me.
Nah. We stole Brooklyn's logo.
Yeah, we totally
That
stole
is
Brooklyn's
true.
logo.
That is
It's not cool. It's
It's
awful. Sorry.
The Islanders need to either fully embrace the stupid Brooklyn thing or not. You know, our colors are blue, orange, and white, or alternately black. What are you? The Ducks are cool. They need to stick to a friggin' color. Kings are cool. Sharks are cool. I'm just going through all the teams now.
Would you change the Phoenix Coyotes?
They're another team that keeps doing these little modifications. Stick to it. I think they finally got it right. Actually, I kind of like what they've been doing.
Yeah, I don't know if I go for a name change on any team.
Too much
cool.
history?
Yeah, like I think you look at a lot of the names in the league. There are reasons behind those names for the most part. Like the Predators, okay, it's like it's naming your team the Wildcats, right? What Predators in Nashville? What Predators? You should have named it something like St. Louis did, you know, after the music scene there. That's what they should have done in Nashville to me. So if I were to pick a team, no offense to Predators fans, if I had to pick a team, it would be the Predators because I'm not really sure that I've ever heard of anybody coming back from Nashville on vacation and going, holy shit, there are so many things there that will eat you.
Here's one.
That's what I would go with.
Why not the Wild?
I love
another
that.
one.
I love that name.
Their logo's got a
Excuse me,
lot
sir.
going on.
I love that name, sir.
Oh, that's true.
Their logo. You want a full rebrand?
Well, so we got to change the team name too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the rebrand. That's
See,
why we're
here's
the
the problem.
Predators.
I don't trust any team to come up with a better name than the one they have.
I think you could do better than Wild.
You know what?
What's wild in
Had
Minnesota?
Minnesota been smart, they would have just gone back to the North Stars.
They want to call the Vegas team the Black Knights, or was it the Black Aces or the Black Knights?
The Pawn Stars, the Las Vegas Pawn Stars. That's what they should be.
The what time is it? Yeah, Preds. Yeah, but they love it there. I don't know about. I would change the Wild's jersey. I wouldn't change their name. And you can't go back to North Stars because you got the Stars. You're gonna have the Stars taking on the North Stars. Yeah.
Oh, well, the Wild and Predators. There is some meaning. But both, you're right. Both teams,
You know,
I'm like,
Predators. Now that you mention it, you could
And
probably
you get
do
rid of the
without.
vomit jerseys.
See, they love the vomit jerseys, though.
Yeah, I
And
don't
they've-
mind that. I don't mind that because it sticks out. You know the Predators jersey. They have a color and no one else has that color.
It's also
it's
more,
disgusting.
Yes.
more yellow than mustard now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is fashion time.
What I would have done with the Blue Jackets is made it more about the fact that the Blue Jackets is supposed to be a Civil War reference from as far as I can understand
The
it.
Columbus Cannons.
Well,
there's
the Blue-
another
I would have
team.
named it Blue Jackets, but why the bug?
That was weird.
What the hell is that? Why is there a bug?
Yeah, remember when their jersey had like a little bit of neon green on it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're referencing a Civil War, I believe it's a Civil War reference. And if I'm wrong about that, excuse me. But if it is a Civil War reference, what are you doing? What's going on there?
It's some kind of military.
Yeah,
reference.
it's now South versus North, like sort of thing. I just don't understand that.
You know who had a really successful rebranding, name aside? The Dallas Stars.
Yeah, they did.
I love that jersey. I used to hate it.
I'm not crazy about it still.
Honestly,
But you see a lot of people with them.
I can't. I'm looking at the whole league. I can't see a team that I think would come up with a better name.
Predators are wild though.
Okay.
I feel like, I mean, Maple Leafs is obviously the regiment, and that makes sense. And also, when you play hockey on real ice, you see Maple Leafs in the ice. You see like Maple Leafs in the ice. I used to see that at my parents' place when we shoveled off the rink. So that makes sense to me. You know, Canadians make sense to me. Jets make sense to me because there's history there. But you want to have something to me that means something locally.
The Ottawa Senators.
Well, that makes sense because there's senators in Ottawa.
Fuck.
Government town. Did you actually? You were joking, right?
Yeah, but not the ones on their logo. With
Yeah,
the
but
friggin-
it's a play on. It's a play on
the
words.
helmet,
Yeah, it's
you
a play
know.
on words, though. I mean, it's a democratic.
I don't
capital.
have time for cleverness.
You don't trust a team to come up with a better name. I don't trust you, sir.
The Ottawa Parliaments.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you guys want another question?
The Ottawa will put it to a votes.
Sure.
2 final questions.
Okay.
1, what arenas are on your NHL bucket list to visit?
Both of you should put TD Garden on your bucket list. I've already seen a game there. It's sick.
I said Boston Garden earlier. It is TD Garden. I apologize to anybody I may have offended by getting that name wrong.
Whatever. I just went to the Bell Center, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
What games? Where have we seen an NHL game? So the ACC, TD Garden, Rexall in Edmonton, and I just had it. Bell Center, Montreal.
Rexall was nuts when I was there, but I wasn't there for a hockey game.
I've been to Rogers Arena.
Well, you were there
in Vancouver.
in Nashville as well, right?
No, I wasn't.
Oh yeah, you were there.
I was in Rogers Arena, but that was for the Olympics,
Philly?
not the NHL.
Did you name Philly? Did you already say Philly?
I've been in that arena, but not for a hockey game. That was for the draft, so that doesn't count. I've been to a hockey game in Buffalo's arena's nice, actually.
Is it? Have you been to
People
Detroit?
shit on Buffalo. No,
I want to go to Detroit.
I'm gonna pass.
You're going to pass on Detroit?
You know what? Nashville. I'll throw out Nashville.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's crazy in there. It'll be even better after the rebrand.
I actually am a little bit embarrassed. I've been to more baseball stadiums, far more baseball stadiums than I have hockey. So
too.
I've seen the Saddle Dome. It can be fun, but when they're losing, it's a big gaping hole. Just as the Leafs are. And Calgary fans, I think, would back me up on that. If they're not winning, it's not very loud.
I forget the name of the arena. Oh, Staples Center. I want to see the Kings.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
that'd be really neat.
Me too. Tampa, I would recommend. And I've said that before. Tampa was just wild. Had a great time. They have chants. Their fans are rabid. You get free T-shirts at the beginning of the game. Like it was so much fun. Yes, granted it was a playoff game, but they lost 4-0, and I had an amazing time.
I want to see, with the asterisk that it has to be a playoff game. I want to go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
Okay.
I'd like to see that too for sure.
You were in New York, weren't you? At Madison Square Garden, where you got ripped off for tickets.
Yeah, I bought fake tickets. So I have technically been inside Madison Square Garden. That's about it.
Must have been a great game. Do you even know what the outcome of that game was?
Like,
No,
I was so hopping mad. And then we went and got sushi, and it was like amazing. And I forgot about it.
That's amazing.
That's how good it was that I got ripped off. I lost $107 American, and I remembered the sushi.
It's the thing with New York. All the restaurants are good because they can't afford to be bad.
Yeah.
The competition's so fierce. The food there is
What
unbelievable.
an Adam Wild way to look at it. But like, damn it, that's exactly it.
So good.
Final question. This was our most upvoted question of the week. Do you
Oh.
guys remember the doubleheader between the Tigers and the Yankees on July 4th in 1961? Frank Larry laid down a bunt in the 9th inning in the second game of the doubleheader
by
at the
the way-
stadium when they were in a heated pennant race.
The thing that I didn't say about Frank Larry in the last show, and no offense to anybody who's still a Frank Larry fan, but isn't Larry short for Lawrence?
I've never
I
even
don't
thought of
know.
that.
So why is your last name a short form of another first name?
You're a firsty.
You are Ricky Bobby. Anyway.
You're worse than a firsty. You're a fake firsty.
Frank Larry laid down the bunt, blah, blah, blah. Oh.
Do you guys remember that?
No, I don't remember
1961?
that. I don't. What's the
It was a
point?
doubleheader.
I'm trying to get...
Adam,
I just want to get to
it was a very important game in my life. And
No, but I'm trying to understand what the point is.
You know what?
No,
You know what,
can you
I'm
just,
just-
no? But
I'm-
can you just give
I
me
think
the
I'm just
point?
gonna tap
If you
out.
would just,
I think I'm just going to hang up. All right.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE. The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.